Thank you, Tony. Dear Tony, friends and Rotary members, on behalf of my family, it's an honor to be here to share a little bit of the life of my husband, Dan. We really appreciated all the support and love during his illness and the recent months. He treasured every single call, the visits, the notes from some of you members, and I really want to thank El Pica. You brought him to the last meeting that he attended as a Rotarian, and he really had a wonderful time. Dan had a battle with ALS, but he was a fighter and he was very brave. His faith and the love of our family kept him for 2 long years suffering, but he was very proud. As he used to say, I have done everything, I have accomplished everything in my life. I'm very happy. You have given me a lot of happiness, and I'm at peace. Towards the end, we had a wonderful visit at the hospice house from Tony. After he left, we prayed and he gave us a blessing. After Tony left, Dan said in a very quiet voice, he could hardly speak. He said, Tony is full of surprises, mi amor. I didn't know he was a minister too. Thank you, Tony, for the wonderful visits, for the times that we shared together. I would like to also recognize here Joan Martin, the former wife of Joe Martin, who has the ALS Foundation, and her husband, Patrick Burgess. My good friend and dear Friday friend, Governor Jim Martin. Thank you, Jim, for being here today. And again, thank you for giving us the opportunity. Thank you to the Joe Martin ALS Foundation for all the work that you did for my husband and for our family, especially Neil Cottrell. And I know that you want to challenge everybody. I did. I took the ice challenge this week. We enjoyed it. And even our 3-year-old daughter did it as well. And I would like to now introduce the president of the Joe Martin ALS Foundation, Neil Cottrell. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Sara Hayden. I'm the Director of Development for the Joe Martin ALS Foundation. I wanted to thank you all for the opportunity to speak to you today. I always like coming to Rotary groups. I typically learn something new, and especially today, I sang a very familiar song. I have 2 young children, and I sang that song already once today, so thank you for the reprise. And I'm especially excited to be here at this Rotary Club. As my mother reminded me, my grandfather Frank Larson and my uncle Pete Larson were both members of this Rotary Club. So she's already called me this morning to give me a vote of confidence, and she'll be following up with me this evening, I'm sure, to hear how it went. So thank you for having me. But yes, we are with the Joe Martin ALS Foundation. We provide free home care for people with ALS in the Charlotte area. What is ALS? Obviously, you all know Dan, and I'm sure other folks, Joe. ALS is a motor neuron disease. What are motor neurons? When you have that thought, I want to reach out and I want to pick up that cup. Well, the motor neurons are what takes that command from your brain to your hand to pick up that cup. Well, this disease causes those motor neurons to die over time, and so your brain's sending that signal, but it doesn't happen when it gets to your hand or whatever else you want to do physically. It eventually causes loss of mobility and paralysis, and patients typically pass away between 2 to 5 years, but many live longer, as Joe Martin did, with the help of a team of caregivers and love and support, and different aspects of things you can do in your life to help with daily living. You can live longer. It's often called the good guy disease. I know we've heard that with Dan, but you hear that a lot. It's always the nicest folks, very physically active people, or people that are really active in their community. Sort of a trend with this disease. There are some connections with head injuries, environmental factors, and many of the cases are sporadic. But there are a few percentage that are familiar where you will see several members in one family who have been diagnosed. There's a lot of research going on about these factors and to find out what the cause is. I started working with people with ALS about 10 years ago. When I first started, there was one gene identified. Now there's 30. So a lot of research has been going on, which is incredible. Now I'm going to do a quick audience challenge. Another thing I like about Rotary clubs, you're very engaging, and hint, hint, I'm hoping for a few volunteers. But as I mentioned, ALS causes eventual paralysis, and a lot of folks lose their ability to speak. And so part of what helps them continue to speak is to use different communication devices. There's a lot of great computers and high-tech machines, but when all else fails, and you're in maybe the bathroom or something where you don't want to get your device wet, you use a communication board. Who here has ever seen one of these? Okay, well, we're going to do a little demonstration. I want to have two folks come up. One is going to be the caregiver, and one is going to be the patient, and we're going to demonstrate how to use this communication board. So can I get two volunteers? Thank you. One more. Okay, she's going to be the patient. Now I want you to think of a short phrase. Don't say it out loud, just one word, something. How it works is the caregiver, which you'll be the caregiver, you'll hold that for me, stands in front of the patient, and you all need to lock eyes through the board. And this patient, we're going to pretend that she's in her disease has progressed, and so all she can move is her eyes. So you guys are going to look through and lock eyes, move your eyes around until you get to the first letter of the word. And as she gets to the first letter, you say it out loud. D. R. I. N. Q. U. K. Drink. Give me a drink. Wonderful. That's right. Okay, great. So thank you all for participating. Give them a round of applause. So you can see what a special role a caregiver has in working with someone who has ALS. It takes a lot of time and a lot of patience, and that's where we come in as an organization. We can help provide extra hands, extra care, extra support for those that have ALS in their families. Specifically, these are the services that we provide. We help with daily living activities, so getting dressed, bathing, eating, personal care, exercise and range of motion, which Neil spoke that he did with Dan. We provide respite care if a caregiver needs to go out of town. We help with that and care for the person with ALS. We also provide wheelchair transportation. Wheelchair vans are very expensive, so we come in handy and we'll take folks places. We also help with travel planning. If there's a will, there's a way. Joe Martin traveled around the world, and we have experience in helping folks plan trips, both around the corner and internationally. We help with home modification, accessibility evaluations to help you plan for your home to make sure that you can live there comfortably as your disease progresses. We also, when we did the first one last night, we also are now providing customized in-home care team workshops where if a person with ALS and their family has a group of folks that want to help them, we will come in the home and train those folks to properly lift and transfer, work the feeding tube, use the communication device, the breathing equipment to make sure they're armed and ready to care for their friend with ALS. And we also have our Home Life for Pals website, which folks are using around the country to learn about tools for resources and caregiving. So the cost of ALS, MDA did a recent study, is $63,000 a year. So you can imagine that having a group come in and help alleviate some of those is a huge help. So typically if you were to hire skilled nursing care in your home, it's about $22 an hour. Insurance pays for some, but sometimes families have to pay for that privately. Of course, through our organization, that's free. Wheelchair transportation is about $100 if you were to rent a van to take you around town. We provide that for free. Shower chairs, the really nice Cadillac versions, as I like to call them, can cost $2,000. We are able to loan equipment like that through our loan program. This is all done thanks to caring individuals and companies in the community that help us do what we do. We receive help. We have events. We have different plans that events that we do, and people like what we do and get involved. We're a small team. We have 4 caregivers, including Neil, administrative assistant, and myself. So we're lean and mean to do what we do. And now I'd like to open it up if anybody has any questions, and also just to thank you again for your time. I hope we've taught you a little something new, and again, appreciate the warm welcome and letting us speak today. Is there any questions from the group?